because the text said that the ark of God was situated such that the king, the throne itself, between the cherubims, is what held the presence of God. And so the Bible says that Saul neglected his responsibility and decided to do his own thing. Well, later on in the text, later on in 1 Samuel, the Bible says that the favor of God led away from Saul. And Samuel got upset and wondered what he could do in order to get Saul back in the favor of God. And God told Samuel, stop tripping over Saul, for I have selected somebody else who will one day take Saul's place. And so the Spirit of God led Samuel to a town called Bethlehem, to a house called Jesse. And in Jesse's house, he was going to select who would be the next king of Israel. David, the youngest of the sons, was in the field, mending the sheep, killing lions and tigers and bears, oh my. And while he was out inside of the field, the Spirit of God spoke to Samuel to tell his daddy, Jesse, to go and get your youngest son.
Talk about it.
The Bible says that he was ready and handsome. He was good looking. He was pleasing to the eye. I like that name, David. And so the text says that Samuel anointed him as the next king of Israel. Well, some 40 years later, David now has become the king of Israel. And his first responsibility is to go and get the presence of God back from where the presence of God was. Now, the presence of God was delivered from the Philistines to Abinadab's house. Abinadab's house was in Bela of Judah. And so David's first responsibility, he said, well, listen, if I'm going to go anywhere in life, Brandon, I need the presence of God. If I'm going to do anything in life, I need to be in God's presence. Because as long as I'm in the presence of God, ain't no devil in hell can mess with me. I feel like preaching. And so by the time we get to the 6th chapter of 2 Samuel, David now has already been to locate the presence of God back. And the first thing that I want to show you that I'm not crazy, I'm just thankful, is because I'm thankful based off of what God has done. Watch this. Watch what he did, what God has already done. David now is dancing based off of what God already did. Now the presence of God, the ark of God, was in the house of Obed-Edom. It was in Obed-Edom's house because as they were carrying the ark of God, which held the presence of God, back from Abinadab's house, the Bible says that David had to put the ark of God on an oxen that carried a cart. Now in Deuteronomy it teaches us that the ark of God can only be carried by 4 preachers. The Levite can only hold the ark of God. But David tried to be quick and rush things and put the ark of God on a cart that is carried by 2 oxen. Well, when they went to Nacon, the threshing floor, the Bible says that the oxen stumbled and the ark of God threatened to fall off of the cart. Well, David's best friend, Uzzah, reaches up to touch the ark of God to keep it from falling. And the Bible says that the Lord's anger kindled against Uzzah, and God killed Uzzah at the spot. And right there I want to stop and look at this particular passage because David was excited and happy because of what God did for him back then and why God did it. Look at this. I'm going to give something to shout about right now. Hold on, give me 1 second. Notice here that David now is bringing the ark of God back from Abinadab's house. And as he's coming back from Abinadab's house, he crosses Nacon's threshing floor. And at Nacon's threshing floor is where Uzzah died. Now the threshing floor is the place of separation. It is where God separates stuff that he can use from the stuff that he could not use. Y'all don't hear me. I feel like preaching. Now, Nacon in the Hebrew literally means prepared place. So, what the Bible is trying to teach us is that when David's friend died, it was already prepared. It was planned. It was a strategy. It was a setup. David's friend died because at the threshing floor, it's the place where God separates the stuff that is useless.
Talk about it.
From from the stuff that he could use. Do I have a witness in the house? And I want to stop and let somebody in this house know that the stuff you used to cry about that God took from you, you need to open your mouth and give God praise about it. If you think about the stuff that you used to have and the stuff you used to do, and I realize every now and then you wish you could still do it. But baby, if you look at where you are now, you're better off now than you were then. Can I talk to a sister in the house? You need to stop crying over the brother that God put out your life. Because God took that brother out your life at the threshing floor when he had to separate the stuff he could use from the stuff he had no use for. Do I have a witness in the house? Do I have anybody in the house that can think about the hell that they've been through? And back then you thought it was going to hurt you. But really, baby, it just kills you. You thought the divorce was going to kill you.